Okay, so we are back. It is the end of the year, and I have been looking forward to doing this for a while. I look forward to doing this every year. It's the best and worst movies I saw of the current year. I've been doing this, I think, like 4 years now, maybe 3. I'll figure it out. And yeah, today we are going to go over the 11 worst movies I saw in 2025. So let's get into it. Okay, so a couple things first. Yes, we just crossed the 1,020 subscriber threshold. That was the requirement to end the Xbox One giveaway. Yes, that was still going on. I didn't abandon it. And yes, we are currently trying to figure out who we're going to give it to right now. In the coming videos, we will announce that on one of them. But entry into that is now over. So, any of you who did enter into that, don't worry. We are working on it. We haven't forgotten about you. We're not like, what giveaway? No. We did the giveaway. We're now going to figure out who wins. So, just a little thing called life that's getting away. But, and then a couple caveats before we begin with the list. So, for starters, I like doing the worst movies of the year first before the best. Everyone likes doing best movies of the year, and then they end the year with a bunch of negativity, and they go, now the worst movies of the year, and you just kind of end the current year with just, man, a lot of negativity. So I like starting off with the worst movies, and then I finish the year with a little bit of positivity. If you feel I'm being a little bit too negative in this video, this is a video for negativity. The video for positivity will be the best movies of the year. So, don't judge the channel just off this video alone. I'm going to get a little bit negative here in a few minutes. And then another thing worth noting is I have not seen everything this year. Even though I am an adamant moviegoer, I hate the term moviephile or cinephile. I hate that term. I'm an avid moviegoer, and I have not seen everything this year. I have heard that Disney's Snow White is a truly awful piece of trash that can't be watched from any angle, but I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you if it's one of the worst movies of the year or not. I have heard that the new War of the Worlds movie made by Amazon is unwatchable and just truly atrocious, but I haven't seen it yet, so I can't tell you if those movies are bad or not. The reason why something is not on this list is because 1, I haven't seen it, or 2, I might actually have enjoyed it. So, you might have some movies missing from the list in your head is like, oh, this was obviously the worst movie of the year. It might not be on this list. You just have to watch and see. And then, last thing, I don't care if you liked something on this list. If you liked one of these movies on the list, this isn't a personal attack at you. It's perfectly fine if you liked a movie on this list today. I didn't. And trying to convince me how I'm wrong is just going to get a LOL emoji at you in the comments down below. I'm very adamant on why I didn't like these films. It is, again, perfectly fine if you like them. I thought these films were dog shit. One more thing before we continue on. I will not be using any footage of any of these movies in this video because movie studios and YouTube are very obnoxiously stupid on this subject, and if I use footage from an officially released trailer, they still copyright that shit. And it's infuriating as all hell, and I just kind of feel like Bill O'Reilly. It's like, okay, fuck it, we're doing live! You know? So, there won't be any footage of any of these movies. I'm just going to be using the movie posters here. And that'll be about it. Granted, it will make editing a little bit easier, but I always like putting footage of these movies in, and the studios are just way too sensitive about it. Funny enough, I tend to have less issues getting the worst movies of the year through the copyright strike gauntlet than I do the best movies of the year, which is, you would think it's the other way around, but no, past couple years, worst movies of the years, yeah, you could go ahead and use that. Best movies of the year, no, we will take you to court if you try making money off that. It's just the weirdest shit. But anyway, on to the Dishonorable Mentions. And first up is a movie that I almost really liked, and that was Ash. This is a movie, it was like a first-time film made by a guy who goes by the handle Flying Lotus, not his real name. I think he should use his real name. He has an eye for visual flair that is impeccably gorgeous. I cannot stress that enough. There's a lot to really like about this movie. The thing I didn't like, they could not decide if they wanted to do a psychological thriller or a creature feature. And they decided, you know what? We're going to try and have our cake and eat it too. And the first 95% of the movie is psychological thriller, and the last 5% is creature feature. And for me, it didn't work. If they had just stuck to one or the other, it probably would have been a good movie. That leading into the pacing issues, you can have a slow burn and not have pacing problems, and this movie did have some pacing issues. So, while I felt it was a disappointment, I do want to see what this director does next, because he definitely has a visually stunning eye for, lighting and mood, and I think he has a future in this industry. The next dishonorable mention is Until Dawn. Funny enough, I was kind of like the only person in my family that wanted to see this. My wife was like, no way, Jose, am I watching this movie at all? And I was always I like watching video game movies just because I like to see how bad of an attempt it is, if it's close to the source material. I've only played a little bit of the original game, but the thing that really drew me to this film was the fact that it was a time loop movie, but each time the loop started over, a new threat was hunting them. I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting and exciting, and for the most part, this movie does work, but it just did not know how to end. It has a very disappointing ending. The reveal at the end of like, oh, this is how this happens, it's just like, you explained nothing. It's like, imagine one day the sun rises blue, and then someone just goes, oh yeah, I looked into it, found out I could actually make that happen. It's just like, I need a lot more than that. And so, like, just the explanation on how this, with the time loop was happening, it was just very dissatisfying. And also, one of the characters I really liked, I felt they were trying to make them come off more as a villain, and it's just like, I'm feeling more in line with this character than the other characters. That might have just been me, but overall, it is worth a watch, but it's kind of disappointing. Next was Play Dirty. I had some hopes for this. I tend to like Mark Wahlberg films, although he has done some bad ones. I tend to like Shane Black films. I mean, he has some great writing. So far, the best movie he's done recently has been The Nice Guys. Everything since, a little disappointing. And so was Play Dirty. It's based on a novel series that follows this character named Parker, and there's been like 3 different movie adaptations of this character. And I don't know if it's just Hollywood being lazy, or if the writer can't write anything else, but in all 3 adaptations of this character Parker, the same setup happens. He gets screwed over on a job, and now he goes on a revenge quest. It happened with the Mel Gibson one, it happened with the Jason Statham one, and it happened with the Mark Wahlberg one. And so, like, I haven't been invested enough to look into it, but either the author of these stories is lazy as hell, or Hollywood is lazy as hell. There's some fun moments in this movie, yeah, but a lot of the set pieces are just really overused CGI. There are some funny scenes, but overall, this is a movie that if I never saw again, I wouldn't really be that disappointed. Next one is a movie I actually reviewed this year, and that's Love Hurts. And the biggest problem with this movie is there is no chemistry between the two main leads that are supposed to be madly in love. There's like just nothing. There's a potentially fun story here. There's some fun fight scenes, but you know you're in trouble when a subplot in said same movie has two characters falling in love that is infinitely more convincing and believable than the two main characters that have twice the screen time as this subplot. So, like, yeah. Next up, Jurassic World Rebirth. I was very disappointed in this film. It's not that it's a terrible movie, it's just it does nothing new. It borrows scenes almost copy and paste from original films that were done better in said original film. It's incredibly predictable. There's another, oh, rich guy's gonna turn out to be an evil piece of shit. I was so surprised. Said no one ever. Seriously, that's like one of the most overused tropes now in films. They need to like put that to rest for like 10 years for it to be fresh again. But I mean, like, even Scarlett Johansson in the Avenger films, after a couple films, it felt like, yeah, I believe she's a former secret agent with the KGB. In this movie, I did not feel like she was actually an ex-Special Forces soldier that turned mercenary. Never once. She felt like a corporate executive in this film. And I know she could actually pull off ex-military. Okay, she did in the Avengers films. So it's just, you know, every dinosaur CGI, it's kind of predictable. I will acknowledge the overall premise is not a copy and paste of a previous film like some movies in the series. But, you know, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more with this, and it just was a little disappointing. Will I watch it again? Of course, it's a Jurassic World movie. It's one of those series you're going to watch it regardless if it sucks or not. It's dinosaurs. Next up in the Dishonorable Mentions, I got two left, is The Wolfman, or just Wolfman. I was really excited about this because, one, I've always been a huge fan of Leigh Whannell's. Two, I really liked his take on The Invisible Man. I thought it was a really clever, like, psychological, you know, relationship movie. Clever blending of genres. I thought that was a really solid movie. And I was excited to see Leigh Whannell take on the rest of the Universal Monster line. Because if you remember back when The Invisible Man came out, the Universal Dark Universe bombed bad. And so it's like, oh gee, I guess no one likes Universal Monsters anymore. And then Leigh Whannell's Invisible Man makes a shit ton of money during COVID. It's like, oh, maybe we're the problems and we just need to get creative. No, it's not us, it's the people. You know, like, but, so I was looking forward to Leigh Whannell's Wolfman. And it's okay. It doesn't do anything really amazing. It doesn't do anything drastically new with the Wolfman mythos. It's a mediocre film. It's not bad. It's not good. It's okay. And I expected more from the guy who delivered us The Invisible Man in 2020. I'm still a fan of his, but I just kind of felt this one did nothing interesting or new. And then the last dishonorable mention is Afterburn. This is a movie where there was no part I hated about it. It was just, it did nothing that we had already seen before. I mean, you know, there's better after the smash post-apocalyptic films. There's better, you know, fortune hunt films. There's better rebellion against the authoritarian dictatorship films better. There's better Dave Bautista films. Hell, one of my favorite films from last year was a Dave Bautista film. So this isn't me hating on Dave Bautista. There's another one of his films on this list. It's, next to a heaping pile of foreshadowing. But, yeah, just Afterburn did nothing new. Nothing interesting. And it's one of those films, I wouldn't even say it's a good popcorn film. It's a movie you throw on when you're doing laundry and you just need some noise on in the background. That's it. And I was hoping for more from this because the trailer actually looked really fun, and it wasn't. It was just like, yeah, I've been here and done that. Okay, now on to the 11 worst movies I saw this year. At number 11 was a movie that did show promise, but really fell apart, and that is Flight Risk. I like Mel Gibson directed films. I do. Say what you will about the guy, I think he has a pretty solid career when it comes to acting and directing. I was intrigued to see a movie where Mark Wahlberg's playing a bad guy. Sorry, spoiler alert. I would recommend that you don't watch the trailers if you are interested in this. I was intrigued to, see a movie take place entirely in a plane. But once she starts talking to her agents on the ground, it kind of falls apart. It should have just been this 3-person act. I felt the movie could have carried its weight on that, but honestly, it was once she started talking with her agency and people on the ground on the phone, it just kind of became a stupid slog to get through. The first couple of minutes, pretty solid, but man, did this movie fall apart. At number 10 is a movie that had potential, but did not stick the landing in, any of its parts, apart from, the very opening, and that was The Electric State. This was such a disappointing movie to me, and it felt like they couldn't decide if they wanted a serious drama aimed towards adults or if they wanted to do a kids movie. Because there's so many scenes, it feels like the original concept was probably meant to be a drama, sci-fi aimed at adults, but way too much of this was aimed at kids. From the very juvenile, ridiculously silly robot designs, it's really hard to take a Independence Day morale speech coming from a Mr. Peanut, okay? And they're trying to play it off all serious, but again, this supposedly very rousing speech is coming from a Mr. Peanut. And it's just way too childish in scenes, even when it's not trying to be. It felt like the wrong people directed this film. And the Russo brothers directed this. I mean, these guys could do dark, end-of-the-world stuff. Just look at Infinity War. But with this movie, it was maybe Netflix had too much input on this, because this was a movie that, honestly, I kind of couldn't wait for it to be over. There's a couple of cool scenes in it. I liked some of the ideas, but man, was the execution awful with this film. At number 9 is one that I know this movie intended to be stupid. This isn't a movie that I thought was stupid and it was trying really hard not. No, this movie clearly wore on its sleeve, we know we're a stupid movie. But I still wasn't going along with the ride, and that was Playdate. I really like Alan Ritchson. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Or is it Richardson? Anyway, I like Reacher. Okay, I like what he's done with his career. I'm looking forward to the possibility of him playing Batman. But, this movie really dropped the ball in a lot of places. One, Kevin James is just completely underutilized in this movie. I felt like anyone could have played that role. And there's movies and shows he's been in, it's no, he owns that part, okay? He owned the part in King of Queens. He owned the part in True Memoirs of an International Assassin, okay? There's some movies he's in, it's yeah, this is obviously Kevin James, a Kevin James movie, okay? Paul Blart Mall Cop, as ridiculous as the movie is, it's that's a role only for Kevin James. Playdate, Kevin James' role, it's we could have gotten anyone to do this role. He felt completely underutilized and unnecessary. The star of the show was Alan Richardson. the star of the show was Jack Reacher, okay? But, I mean, even that could not save this movie. There's some stupid stuff, I will acknowledge. There's some funny ass shit in this movie as well. They stole like 3 or 4 different cars, and they keep stealing the same type of car. It was funny. But like, just the overall story, it's like, this could have been done better. Some of the jokes could have been done better. Some of the dialogue's just really dumb. And like, the way it ends, it's like way too many loose ends. And honestly, this was a really stupid movie, but I wasn't able to enjoy the stupid fun that this movie was offering. At number 8 is How to Train Your Dragon. The original animated movie was a surprise to me. I did not think I was going to like it. I saw it on Tubi one night, and it's like, oh, you know what? I'll try it. And I found myself genuinely laughing at some of the scenes, generally like having a few like heartstrings tugged during this movie. Okay, a cartoon. So when I saw that live action was coming out, it's like, honestly, I'm not really interested, because most of the live action remakes are unnecessary. And, you know, I felt like, you know, Pete Holmes in that skit.
To be frank, you are exactly like Ryu, and you are unnecessary.
What?
You're exactly like Ryu, and you're completely unnecessary.
No, but what?
I felt the drama with the actress playing Astrid was so manufactured, because, like, in the movie, she doesn't come off as being black. But in the lead up to the film, it was like, oh, what, are you racist? It's like, okay, obviously this is being manufactured to get like a sympathy vote for the movie, and you're just like rage baiting people. And it was very obvious that, because in the movie she doesn't look black, but she comes off as a stick of wood. And like, in some of the interviews, she seems very expressive and like happy to be there. It's just like, why'd you make her like monotone and expressionless in the movie? The original Astrid was not like this. But I mean, ignoring the Astrid parts, it's like, okay, are you trying to go with a cartoon feel, or are you trying to make this feel more realistic? Because there's scenes, it seems like they're trying to make this feel more realistic, and then there's other scenes they're trying to make it feel really cartoonish. And it's just, you know, in the original animated film, the kids he was going through class with, they worked for an animated movie, they don't work in a live action movie. And so it kind of like, a good live action remake for me is the original 90s Jungle Book with Scott Lee, you know, the kid who played Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat, Jason Scott Lee, that's his name. Like, I thought that was a really good live action remake, because it wasn't going cartoony. It was like, hey, let's do like a serious attempt at doing the Jungle Book. And I thought that was a great movie, better than the Disney live action remake, which both of them were by Disney, now that I think about it. There's a good live action remake and a so-so live action remake. But I mean, just with this movie, it's like, honestly, just watch the original one. I mean, that one was a far better film in my opinion. Did the kid do a good job playing Hiccup? Yeah, he did. But I felt the original one was better. So, at number 7 is another Dave Bautista movie that came out this year. And I actually had some hope for this, because I actually like the director that was attached to this film. A lot of people give him shit. I actually think he's done some fun movies. He's done some shitty ones, like Three Musketeers and Pompeii. But he's done some really awesome movies, and that's Paul W.S. Anderson, and that movie is In the Lost Lands. I actually had some hope for it, because I like, usually Paul W.S. Anderson can entertain me. Even if it's not a great movie, usually I can be pretty entertained with one of his films. I tend to like Dave Bautista's action films. I tend to like Paul W.S. Anderson's wife's action films. Mila Alice from Resident Evil, or Lilu from Fifth Element. I tend to like her action films, so this was kind of like, okay, sounds good, sounds good, sounds good. Also, George R. R. Martin wrote the original story. Okay, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he's done some good stuff, so it's like, okay, this sounds like a fun time. And boy, was it not. In the Lost Lands, felt like they used way too much CGI green screen for a movie that obviously needed to use it. I felt this movie used more green screen than George Lucas did on the prequel Star Wars films. Okay? I felt this movie used more unnecessary green screen than James Cameron did with one of his Avatar films. Okay? Those Star Wars prequel films and James Cameron Avatar films use a lot of CG, green screen. So this one, it just felt like unnecessary scenes that didn't need to be green screen were green screen. And it's just like, I bet Dave Bautista and Mila Lilu from Fifth Element, I bet they're a little bit tired of seeing green screens after working on this film. Very disappointed in the ending. It's just like, okay, what? It's like, after it's over, I just kind of felt like that should have been better than I thought it was going to be. And it was not as fun as it should have been. And so, I just was very disappointed in The Lost Lands. So at number 6 is Heads of State. Okay, in all fairness, I kind of knew this was going to be a stupid movie. I mean, the premise of the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of England have to survive on their own against the terrorist plot to overthrow them. It's the stuff of ridiculous, cheesy action movies. But I don't mind watching a cheesy, ridiculous action movie if it's any good. The problem here is that apart from one sequence, this movie sucked. Most of the jokes did not land. The overall plot was stupid. There's like a speech at the end that is so ridiculously stupid. A lot of the action does not land right. I mean, just overall disappointing movie. And like the two actors, John Cena is the US president and Idris Elba is the British Prime Minister president. Sounds awesome, okay? I mean, but like, even in this movie, the actress, whose name I cannot pronounce, okay? She's married to like one of the Jonas Brothers. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name because I'll just slaughter it and I'll make every Indian offended. But she was also in a show called Citadel, okay? And like, her fight scenes in that show kind of looked good. In this movie, it felt like the fight scenes were not landing right with her. She's supposed to be this ultimate badass, and she's taking down guys 3 times her size, and like in Citadel it felt believable, but in this movie it did not. Probably the only thing I liked about this movie was, funny enough, Jack Quaid's cameo in this film. Like, honestly, his part, I kind of like got up at myself like, oh, okay, this actually seems like it's kind of fun. And Jack Quaid's entire role in this movie was awesome. I honestly thought the movie was turning around, but then that sequence is over. It's like, honestly, I wish the movie had more of him in it. And you know what? Let's just do an entire movie with him and the two presidents. That would be a fun movie. And the saddest thing about this movie is that it's directed by the guy who did Hardcore Henry, okay? The guy who made one of the most insane, over-the-top action films of the last 20 years. And the action fell flat in this movie. It's like, what happened? Like, you're the director I have on the short list for a live-action Doom film. And, like, this is not helping you, man. At number 5 is going to be a little bit of a controversial one, but screw it. 28 years later, man, was I disappointed in this movie. I cannot stress that enough. I mean, you had the 2 original creators coming back from the first one. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, okay? And for some reason, they were kind of hinting that it's just a direct sequel to 28 Days Later, and 28 Weeks is not canon, which I think is stupid, because 28 Weeks Later is actually a really solid movie. Definitely a lot better than whatever the fuck this was. Because 28 Years Later, it starts off okay, but they just do some really weird-ass shit that doesn't fit in the movie. Like, I get it, 28 years later, clothes are going to start deteriorating, but holy fucking shit, were there way too many dangling dicks in this film, okay? Way too many. I thought I walked in on a porno film. I mean, close-up shots, like shots of them flailing through the air while running. It's just like, Danny, Alex, you guys want to tell us something? Like, I mean, more than ever I thought I was going to see in my lifetime. So that one was an eye-opener there. And then this stupid bullet camp thing they did. I mean, doing it once or twice is one thing, but they do this stupid thing with, like, every single zombie death, or infected death. They're technically not zombies. They're zombies. Every single death, it's like, you see the arrow or bullet go through the head, and it just stops, and then you see like a click, 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 to see the splatter out back, and then it continues at full speed. Like, every fucking death they do this with. And it's so overused and ridiculous, and the first time you see it, it's just jarring. It's just like, why are you doing this? Are we in the Matrix? But then you're doing it with every single, like, kill. It's just like, huh? What's going on? The editing is so chaotically choppy. It's not good, okay? It's not fun. It doesn't contribute to the story. It's just really sloppy editing. And then they do this character introduction for, like, this overall threat. Like, this is going to be the Thanos of this film series. And when they introduce him, finally, I feel like it's an SNL skit. Like, seriously, I was just feeling like, am I watching My Python? Like, what is this? And of course, the movie kind of ends a little bit on, I don't want to say a cliffhanger, but just not everything's resolved, because the sequel's coming out in January, mind you. And it's like, after I've done with this movie, it's like, okay, I have no faith in anything else Danny Boyle or Alex Garland do from now on. Like, this was the worst out of the 3 28 Days films, okay? 28 Weeks Later was so much better than this. So much better. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot. There's a character that completely disappears halfway through, okay? And it's just like, I get it. He was left behind, but it's so jarring. Like, he's such a huge focal point in the first half, and then he's just gone the second half. And it's just like, yeah, 28 Years Later was a monolithic disappointment this year for me. At number 4 is one I should have seen coming, but I was giving it a chance because of the cast, and because the lead actor, Scott Eastwood's film prior to this was a stupid movie, but it was actually a really fun stupid movie, and that was Dangerous. Really solid movie. If you want a fun popcorn film, go check that out. Even though it is just a Die Hard knockoff, there's a lot of fun stuff in it. I was expecting the same from Alarum, and I did not get that. Alarum was such a disappointing movie. It was one of the worst action films I've ever seen. And this is a movie with Scott Eastwood, Sylvester Stallone, and Mike Coulter. Okay? Freaking Luke Cage. And this movie sucked. Okay? One, the effects were dog shit. Okay? Not just CGI visual effects, but practical effects were dog shit in this movie. The action scenes were dog shit. The editing was dog shit. It's another case of a woman not being properly trained to make a realistic looking fight scene happen. That happens in this one. So the woman is like fighting a guy twice her size, and it doesn't look realistic. If you want to see a woman fighting a guy bigger than her, but it look realistic, check out John Wick Chapter 4. Okay? But going back to an inferior film to that, Alarum, the story it kind of had some promise, but just the execution of the story is terrible. Like, the ending is terrible. Like, they were like teasing, oh, there's a much bigger world we can explore with this series. Like, please don't make a sequel. This movie was awful. Just absolutely awful. Now, at number 3, oh boy. The third worst movie I saw this year was Superman. Yeah. Unlike the other films, I will talk about what I thought was actually pretty good with this film. And that was 3 things. One, Rachel Brosnahan, the Marvelous Miss Maisel, she was probably my favorite Lois Lane. Because in past films, sorry, but Lois Lane always came off to me as like a bitch or an asshole or just completely selfish and just unappetizing. And in this film, it's like she actually came off as a reporter that wanted to do the best job she could do. And I really liked that. And the other thing I liked about this movie was the actor playing Superman, David Corin. The guy playing Superman? I'm terrible with names today. There were moments he captured like the Blue Boy Scout vibe of the original Superman comic books. And there was a few brief moments I felt he captured the role more than Henry Cavill did. Now, Henry Cavill, I still in a heartbeat would have him back as Superman and kick David out of the side, but I felt that David did kind of capture the big Blue Boy Scout a few times really solid and very well. And then the other thing, there's kind of a surprise in the movie where it's like a little bit of a twist, and the concept of what James Gunn was trying to do with that, I liked. Some of the jokes about it just got a little overboard on it, but I got what he was trying to go for, especially with the final few seconds of the film. It's like, yeah, I kind of get what he was going for that. Outside of those 3 things, I thought the movie stunk. Really bad. Like the obvious one. The suit does not fucking fit him at all. It is one of the worst Superman suits I've ever seen. And it's not the cape, it's not the red trunks, it's not the boots, it's the top, okay? The actual, like, shirt he's wearing does not look right. It looks like a kid wearing a costume his mom bought him, okay? It does not fit him like any of the previous Superman suits. It's a terrible suit, and it really hurts the film. That's not the only thing I don't like. If it was just the suit, I mean, like, you look at the Dark Knight's trilogy, I thought the costume in that, for the most part, like, I thought the masks sucked. Okay? Like, but I still thought those were solid films. It's not just the suit why I hated Superman. The other thing I didn't like, way too many characters were crammed into this film. Way too many. Okay? And this movie starts off, it feels like I'm starting off at chapter 72 of a grand story. It's like, no, this is the first chapter. But all this shit happens beforehand, but we're not going to cover any of that. Oh yeah, by the way, there's Green Lanterns in this world. We're not going to talk about how they were introduced. Oh yeah, and there's Justice Gang, or, you know, Justice Society of America. Okay? Most of them felt useless. Okay? Like, Hawkgirl and Green Lantern, like, they should have been cooler, but they aren't. And then, like, Mr. Terrific, I felt like one of the 2 guys in Office Space. It's like, what do you actually do here? Alright, so, like, you're really smart, and you have these tech orbs, and you have a floating chair. Okay. What do you do? Like, at least Hawkgirl, she has giant wings, showing that she's a hawk that's also a girl, okay? But, like, Mr. Terrific, I mean, I had to look up on Wikipedia what he does. And then, like, there's a scene in the middle of the movie where it's like, we're going to showcase how awesome Mr. Terrific is by completely copy and pasting the scene from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Yondu. I mean, like, and they were, like, showcasing it like, oh, look how awesome this character is. It's like, this is just a blatant ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
To be frank, you are exactly like Ryu, and you are unnecessary.
Okay, like just blatant ripoff. So I thought the Justice game was completely stupid. Oh yeah, and then Lex Luthor. Okay, I heard people say, "Oh, this is the best Lex Luthor." No, it's not. It's boring because it's the same Lex Luthor we've gotten 100 times before. Okay, I mean, Superman has so many villains, and yet we keep getting him going up against not just Lex Luthor, but a very specific kind of Lex Luthor. A scrawny, whiny, real estate, scheming, rich guy. That's it. And, I mean, I thought maybe we might get a different one here, but no, he's just the same old, whiny, scrawny, real estate, scheming rich guy. Yeah, there's another real estate scheme in this one. Shocker there. I know that's a spoiler, but when you do it, WB, Warner Bros., when you do it in every fucking film, it's not a spoiler. Okay? And my gosh, could we have at least gone like the Lex Luthor from the Justice League animated series, where he's kind of a badass and he's kind of like the one who runs for president, and give me a Lex Luthor who, when he sits down with Darkseid, he's like, look, I'm taking my time out of my day to meet with you, not the other way around, so talk quick. What do you want? Okay? I want that Lex Luthor. But no, I mean, it's just, we have to show the like, that's not even the worst part. The worst part of the movie is the entire subplot that could have been removed, mind you, and the movie still would have been able to work the same way. The entire subplot of the war between the nation of Bavaria and Jarapur, okay, that was the worst part of the movie, because it is so fucking obvious that the nation of Bavaria is supposed to be an allegory for Russia and Israel, and it's so fucking obvious that the nation of Jarapur is supposed to be an allegory for Ukraine and Palestine. Okay, I mean, even the president of Bavaria is so obviously a mix of Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, that it's so obvious and it's so in your fucking face. It's like, I don't care what your politics are on those two very unfortunate world events. Okay, I don't care if you feel that one side is right or the other. Okay, I don't want to go to a fucking Superman movie and get pulled out of the fantasy and brought back to real life with real world politics being shoved into it, okay? When I go to a Superman movie, I want to see Superman fight a robot. I want to see him fight an alien from another planet. I want to see him smash through an asteroid. I don't want to see him break up a war between Russia and Ukraine when all I'm hearing nonstop on the news is Russia and Ukraine, or Israel and Palestine, okay? And because of that, this movie fails, because every time that comes up, it tears me out of the illusion, okay? I know, well, you should just, accept it. No. Why the fuck do we have entertainment then? If entertainment's just going to be the nightly news in our face, why fucking watch it? Okay? Entertainment's for one reason and one reason only. To escape. And, yeah, I definitely want to see those two wars end, but when I go to a fucking Superman movie, I don't want to hear about it. So yeah, that's why Superman's number 3 on the worst movies I've seen this year, because it couldn't have the decency to just for 2 hours let me escape from this shitty world we're living in. So at number 2 is a movie that the trailer really got me, and oh yeah, this looks good. The cast looked amazing. The director even had a good history of good movies under her belt, was A House of Dynamite. And oh my gosh, was this such a letdown. I mean, when you're talking about a movie dealing with potential nuclear holocausts, there are far superior movies than this. I've heard a lot of people shit talk The Sum of All Feels. Far superior movie to this. The Peacemaker. A lot of people forgot about that movie. Far superior movie to this. The movie that this clearly was inspired by, Failsafe, is a superior movie to this, because unlike this movie, those movies have clearly defined sides and moments of progression and endings. This movie has none of that. It has an amazing cast, but it does this weird time jump thing where every 20 minutes it rewinds 20 minutes to start over again, but from different perspectives. And that could have been really awesome if you had saw something different. But the problem is, you see the first 20 minutes, oh, okay, and then it goes back, you think, okay, I'm going to learn something new. No, you just see the same thing happen from other people that were maybe on the other end of the line, and you learn nothing new. Okay? You never find out who launched the nuke. You never find out if it hits Chicago. You never find out if we got hacked. You never find out what happens. It just abruptly ends after the third 20-minute cycle. That's it. There's entire plot lines that go nowhere and are completely useless. Like, the movie stops and focuses on a FEMA agent that contributes nothing to the story, okay? There's parts that do nothing, okay? And it's such a disappointing movie. It's like, okay, so you're left with just nothing. Like, oh, someone launched a nucleus. I mean, how did it get past all the fences? Don't know. Who launched it? Don't know. Did it hit? Don't know. Was this due to us afterwards? Don't know. How many people died? Don't know. Was there a cyber attack? Don't know. I mean, yeah, you want to be annoyed to all hell? Go ahead and watch this movie. It was terrible. I mean, there's so many better movies out there that you could watch about a potential nuclear disaster coming that are far superior in almost every way. The only part of this movie that was decent was the acting. The acting was pretty decent, but when you have a dog shit script like this, the best acting in the world can't pull you out of it. And then at number one, the worst movie I saw this year was one that I actually was kind of looking forward to because I liked the first one. And that was The Old Guard 2. Yes, this was the worst movie I saw this year. And do you want to know why? Because it is so far inferior to the first one in almost every way. It's not even funny. Okay? The first movie, was it rough? Yeah, it had its issues, but it was kind of like a, hey, remember Highlander? Well, let's do kind of like this fun alternate take since we don't have the rights to Highlander. It's like, okay. And it was kind of fun. If you managed to watch it without seeing the trailer first, it was kind of a surprising film because the trailer spoiled everything about that movie. And, you know, it was like, yeah, this is a fun adventure, fun characters, interesting dynamic, interesting setup for a future villain. And then the second one got announced, and it was coming out. I was like, okay, interesting. I want to see the sequel. I really like Charlize Theron. She's one of my 4 favorite actors in terms of acting skill in Hollywood. And when I watched this, it was like, holy shit. Where do I begin? So, 1, Charlize Theron. I just said she's one of my 4 favorite actors when it comes to the craft of acting. If I could have 4 actors in a movie to really put it up to another level, it would be her, Melissa Leo, John Hawkes, and Jeffrey Wright. Okay? Those 4 actors in a movie, ooh. It could be a silent film about tax law, and I would fucking watch that shit because those 4 actors. So, the fact that she felt like she phoned it in this movie, and she just didn't care, completely surprised me. It's like, I felt like this was her weakest performance ever. This is the woman that was the monster in Monster, okay? This is a woman that could literally pull off Snow White's evil mother and kill it, okay? Like, this was just a paycheck for her, okay? Even in the first one, I didn't feel this, okay? But like in this, she was just phoning it in. The fight scenes, I've seen Charlize Theron do some pretty good fight scenes. The fight scenes felt phoned in, okay? And forget that for a moment. The story was so atrociously bad, okay? You set up potentially one of the best villains I could think in recent memory with the character of Quinn, alright? It's this immortal that, let's be honest, Charlize Theron had a thing with, okay? But they didn't quite say that because they wanted to not alienate a lot of the audience, so it's like, oh, they're just really close. In the director's cut, they're lovers, but they're really close. You have this character Quinn. She's set up as basically this thick as thieves ally with Charlize Theron, and then she gets buried in an Iron Man at the bottom of the ocean for like 1,000 years, okay? And at the end of the last movie, she got out. It's like perfect setup for a villain. Ooh, great setup for a villain. In this movie, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it, they decide to wimp out and not make her the main villain. It's like she's a little bit of a villain for a few minutes, but then it's like, oh, you always really loved me, we're going to be best friends again. And it's like, what? And then they decide to replace this potentially awesome villain setup with one of the lamest one-dimensional villains I've ever seen. Correction. Calling Uma Thurman's character a one-dimensional villain is an insult to one-dimensional villains out there, because one-dimensional villains have more development than Uma Thurman's character. And her name in this movie is Discord. I shit you not. It's like, what is she, a Transformers villain? No, she's not. Okay? You'd wish she was. Okay? No. And like, one of the dumbest lines in this movie, delivered by Henry Golding, is, she had many names over the years, but now she goes by Discord. And it's like, I'm sorry, you've been with her for like most of the time, right? It's like, yes. So you know most of her names, of course. Well, why don't you just fucking tell us her real name? No, she goes by Discord now. And so hearing everyone say with a straight face, we gotta get to Discord, Discord is moving, Discord's coming for us, is the funniest shit you'll ever hear. And it's not meant to be funny, okay? But they set Uma Thurman up as the big bad for the throw, because this ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like, why? Why would I be interested in seeing the third one? You had a potentially amazing villain with Quinn. You know, someone that the main character was so close with, and then through a tragic separation of fate, something they couldn't control, they get separated. One goes through a life of torture, another one a life of loneliness, and then when they meet again, the one that's been tortured wants to just destroy the other one. Great setup for a villain. And with the cliffhanger this one had, having Quinn as the main final threat in a potentially third one, I doubt this is actually a third one, would have been amazing. It would have been a really awesome 3-story journey to this villain, seeing how this character became a villain. But no, they didn't do that. They decided, no, we want to make Quinn good again, and we're going to just put in this throwaway villain called Discord. You have one character just completely sacrifice themselves for no reason, when it's like, why are you doing this? You didn't have to do this. Honestly, you could have helped us more. But it's like, this movie was so stupid, and it didn't have to be. It was such a terrible sequel that, like, if you see the first one, you thought, yeah, that's a pretty good movie, don't watch this, because it's a terrible sequel. The first movie's pretty good, but this one just sucked. So yeah, that's been the 11 worst movies I have seen this year. what were some of the terrible movies you guys saw this year? Say off in the comments down below. And keep in mind, the list of best movies I saw this year is coming. So keep a lookout for that. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications for this channel, and you should get notified when the best movies of 2025 is coming out. So with that being said, my name is Christopher Connell with 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all for today.